Hey guys, Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and this is the final on overhead cabinet refinish. Hardly even see the cabinet, do you? Why? Because the door is what stands out. Uh, my previous owner put this mirror in here. I thought it really opens it up. I mean, you see all my Twinkies, and I like that. This is the original cabinet door, and he put that on there. You say, well, how does that door stay up like that? All right, you know the three overhead door hinges you have, it says Mignon on them. Well, guess what? And you know this, they don't hold this door up. And if it had this mirror, the weight of this mirror on this door, it would definitely not hold it up. So what do? You'll see people have struts here and spring load things and all that. Well, look up, go on the internet, again, it's all on the internet, flap hinge. This is called a flap hinge. Flap hinge. And take a look at this. This screws to the side. Door goes on here. And right here, you see this Phillips tip? It's an adjuster. You can make this thing as stiff. I love my machine, but there it goes. See? You ever get your tools will play with you like that? Watch this. Let's see. You can tighten it up or loosen it up depending on how heavy the door is. Look online, flap hinge. Okay? So what makes this work? I had these on before. Texture. Take a look at this texture. Now, I could have just shot it with the white appliance enamel, so you want a gloss to it. Could have done that, but you want to do color and texture. So you can see here, we've got a nice knockdown texture like in a house. Okay, so color and texture was real important when we had it all apart, fixed, put body filler in all the old holes, and then shot it with the texture paint. Stay right here, I'll get it for you and show you what it is. I was almost prepared. Home Depot, it's called wall texture. They have, this is the cheapest one. I wanted to see if it would work. They have other stuff that I would imagine had some that you could actually turn down and change the texture. This, you can change the texture by coming further or closer. You can get it further like this. It kind of spreads out. You get closer, it blops up a little bit. So you got to, buy 2 cans of it and then figure it out. And then it's all rattle can, white, gloss white. If you use a flat paint in the motorhome, it gets dirty real easy because a gloss paint, the reason it's glossy is there's less pores on the surface, so it's smoother. It won't suck up as much dirt, okay? And is a little bit stronger. It actually gives you a surface. So you want to use, I use white, gloss white appliance enamel or protective enamel. All right. How do you put the cabinet back up? Well, if you took it down, there were a row of screws here and there were a row of screws up here. Now, these screws go into an aluminum bar right under here, right under this lip, right there, right all the way across. See, I left one out. There's an aluminum bar all the way across, and that's what that screw snags. GM strategically placed an aluminum bar at that point. You could measure from here to here if you want, but the thing is, the cabinet is made that if you line this up parallel right here, the bottom edge is there, you push the top and hit it, you'll hit the aluminum plate. Mine's a little bit off, but you can see even being off like that, it still hit that aluminum plate that held it up there. I felt this was I'll leave this up. I thought this was a great find. Janie found a microwave. I gave her the specifications of the maximum depth to get this microwave, and she found one. Nostalgia. It's a 0.7 cubic foot, cute little thing, microwave oven. Rotisserie and all that. The nice thing though, it fits inside. So I'll be able to make a cover plate right here. I'm thinking about using the bamboo. Make a cover plate right here. And then it'll be nice and flush and clean and looking really good. Underneath here, you need to have some lights. Clean the surface. Right here was the original where the stove vent was. I made a panel from the side panel, recovered that. I could have run it all the way across, but might as well make it pretty. Did that. So we got the lighting running through the original wires. We have a void here area that I ran these wires through. So we'll only have one wire coming up here for 12 volts. Back in here, I have 110 on an outlet for the microwave. So we brought 110 up here, and that's a plug back there. When we're all done, I'll get a piece of split loom, cover split loom, put in there. I write that right up in there like that. And then I'll make a panel right here of that 1/8 inch plywood that covers all that. So Janie won't have to worry about pulling wires or anything in the way. It'll be out of the way. So there's the cabinet. Been to what, 3 or 4 episodes on this. And when you do yours, it will be just a little bit different. Why? Because you'll have different damage. You'll have different issues. The later model units, the earlier model units used a self-tapping screw. And so as long as you were close to the aluminum, it went right in. The later model units used 1/4-20 inserts. Now, my tip there is take two, go buy 2 bolts that are longer than what was in there. A 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch longer. Cut the head off the bolt. Put one in each corner. Thread it in so it's open on the end. So then when you go put the cabinet up, you just put it on those 2 bolts. Boom, you're in. Then you push it back where it's straight up, which it will because that's there. You push it up where it's straight up, and right there should be where the other bolt is going up top. That's on the later models. Earlier ones, these were all self-tappers. Bub and Scooter weren't really sure where they were going to go, so they're just going to use a big old self-tapper with a fat head on it. Work. And it's easy. You can just put it back the same way. So there we go. This part of the kitchen is pretty much done. There's a lot of things you can do with overhead cabinets. Now, one thing you want to do, if you want the whole thing to look good, the original cabinet doors and drawers, like you see, you hardly see the cabinet. All that work, you don't even see it. You go, oh man, all that work. But the doors and drawers are what makes it look good. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and go to their decorator department, kitchen department, you can have doors and drawer faces made. It's a MDF. It's a vacuum formed in MDF. You can have them made any size you want. They have all kinds of scallops and things on them. So you make doors and drawers for your lowers and for your uppers. And when you put it all in, everything looks new. Why? Because you see the doors and drawers. You hardly see the cabinet. See what I mean? Boom, cabinet's gone. So doors and drawers are what makes the fronts of your overhead cabinets look good. All right, now you may want to have cabinets all the way to get more to put stuff. What I did on this overhead up front, I took this cabinet out and we put a little display in here. You don't have to do that. It looks nice and clean. But I put lights behind it. You know, you got to have lights, right? On the other side, we've got a window box display. This is my wife's dad's commission sword. He was in the Navy. And we have a display on his stuff. He was in the big three: World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam. So this is a nice display. It's a great way to cover the top of your window treatment. Gives you a nice, rather than putting another thing over here with lights and stuff, we put a nice display. This still gives you the open feeling of not having the cabinets, but you use the space. You use it as a display space. My wife and I live in a 100-year-old house, and we like to have displays. And this one, makes both of us feel good every time we come in. So think about things like that when you do your interior. Dress it up. If you're going to be on the road, I understand you need cabinets all the way. Okay, if that's what you're going to do, if you're gonna go cross country, you need all the cabinet space you can, and I dig that. But and I dig that. But if this is going to be a weekend warrior or something to play with, or to go to car shows, things like that, like you do with any of your specialty cars, you may want to consider not putting some cabinets back in. All right. Look, thanks for a few minutes. Thanks for following through the series. And if this is the only one you've seen, brother, go back and get the other series to see how we got the overhead here, the overhead here, and this overhead here. All right, guys. Again, thanks. Hit like and all that stuff. Ranch hands, what's yours look like? Send me some pictures. Now, the next thing we're going to do, come on with me over here, is the refrigerator cabinet. Now, I've already made this. Now, this was a unique thing, and I'm going to start a new series on this. I rebuilt it to hold one of the single door refrigerators, and then have a chest style freezer down below. But we decided to go to a 2-door. So follow us on that. If you're working on yours, well, tear it apart with me. See you then. Bye-bye.